We have built out our form. Let's start working with it. Angular comes with a lot of great features so that we can actually get data out of that form and use it to process and create a user. Angular 2 comes with two different ways to work with forms. We have the template-driven way, and if you come from Angular 1, this is going to be very familiar to you. This is where we get to define things in our template. We get to use ngModel, and then we'll do validation inside of our template. We'll do this way for this demo. It's very simple to get started with. And the second way that Angular 2 provides forms is the model-driven way. This is where a lot of the logic moves away from your template and goes into your class that is attached to this template. This is really helpful when you're building out more dynamic or larger forms. Since our form only has 2 input fields, we'll be using the template-driven way. Let's split this out so we go half and half with our screen. We'll hide the sidebar. Half there and half here. Let's add some margin to the bottom of this form. Angular 2 comes with a couple form directives that we can use. We have ngModel, like we did before, and now we have ngForm. We're going to learn a couple new things here. We're going to define a template reference variable. Now what this is a hashtag form. Now we can easily reference this form using this form variable. And we'll bind that to the ngForm directive. Now what's really cool about this is that we can reference our form and actually get information about is this form valid or not. We'll reference the form and we'll do valid. Now we'll see our form refresh. The form is currently valid right now. Now, how is this possibly valid? We have 2 input fields that have required as attributes. Well, we need to get information out of these 2 as well, so we need to bind some directives to these 2. We'll be using ngModel, just like we did in Angular 1. First, we'll use our two-way data binding so that we can get the information out of this form into our class. So we'll use the banana in a box ngModel is equal to new user.name. Then we'll create a template reference variable so that we can reference this specific input, and we'll call it name is equal to ngModel. Now we're referencing new user here, but we don't actually have a new user. If we inspect, we'll see a couple errors here. Let's open this out. If we look through our errors, we have cannot read property name of undefined. And that actually shows on line 7 of our template. We'll create a new user in our class. We'll do new user, and we want this to be a user, so we'll type it as the class of user is equal to new user. Now everything's working fine here. No errors. And we can see that our form is now no longer valid. Let's take this a step further. We're going to disable the submit button, and we'll use property bindings. We'll set the disabled property, and we'll do disabled if form invalid. Now what's really cool about that is that we're just calling disabled directly from our button. We're not trying to use any other directives like ng disabled or anything like that. We're just calling our property binding and setting disabled to true or false based on this expression. We'll do the same for our username field, and we'll have these 2. We want name. We want this and that to be username. Now let's see if we can't get our form to be valid. New name, new username. Now those are both filled out, the required flags are satisfied, and our form is ready to be submitted. Next, we're going to work on a little bit more validation, show some error classes and show some error messages if both of these aren't filled out. And then we'll move forward from there and start submitting this form so we can create a user and add that to the list.